Hello and welcome to Rando Tech Info, and today we are putting Google's latest and greatest, the Pixel 7 Pro, up against Samsung's best, the S22 Ultra, to see which phone has the faster shutter speeds, and to see if that translates into better action shots, or to put it another way, which phone can capture faster and cleaner shots of a moving subject. Now, depending on just how technical you want to get, the term shutter speed can mean slightly different things to different people. For the sake of our testing today, shutter speed will mean how quickly the phone is able to capture an image after the shutter button is pressed. And we will be testing this in two different ways. First, we will perform a rapid shutter speed test to see how many shots each phone can capture. We will do this in a variety of lighting conditions, and we will do this with all of the rear-facing camera sensors on both phones. Then we will take photos of a moving subject and see how well each phone is able to capture that subject. And once again, we will do this with all rear-facing sensors on both phones. And to best simulate real-world scenarios where your camera shutter speed could actually matter, we're going to pretend we need to grab the shot quickly, without a lot of preparation. So we will be using the default point-and-click camera modes on both phones, with the new faster shutter option on the S22 Ultra set to on. If you want to know more about that particular feature, you're in luck, because I did an entire video on it, and for your convenience, I will leave a link to that video at the end of this video and down in the description. And if you find all this shutter speed testing and experimentation your kind of jam, you might want to consider liking this video and subbing to the channel.
That's a good idea.
Alright, enough talk. Let's test. So for our first test, we will be taking 10 shots in rapid succession simultaneously on both phones, starting with the primary lens with the studio lights on, to see how many photos each phone can capture. Now we will run the same test with the ultra-wide cameras. Now we are going to run the test with the 5x telephoto lens on the Pixel and the 3x lens on the Ultra. We are skipping the 2x zoom selection on the Pixel because it's just a crop of the primary lens. Finally, just for fun, even though the Pixel doesn't really have an equivalent, we are going to run the test with the 10x telephoto lens on the Ultra. Now we will run our low light test with the studio lights turned off. And finally, we will run the test again, this time in outdoor lighting conditions. Next, we will move on to our moving subject test, and for this test we will be trying to capture Wanda by tapping the shutter on both cameras as she crosses the first white line of the crosswalk doing a speed of 25 miles per hour. This will allow us to see how quickly both phones are able to take the shot after the shutter button is pressed, as well as how clean an image both phones are able to capture. And like last time, we will run this test with all rear-facing camera sensors. So at the end of the day, what have we learned? Starting with the outdoor rapid shutter test, we see the S22 is able to capture more shots with the primary and telephoto lens. And we see similar and even more definitive results with the indoor lighting test. However, in the low light test, results from both phones were similar. So in more common lighting conditions, it seems the S22 Ultra takes the win here. So it stands to reason that the Ultra would also outperform the Pixel in the moving subject test. Right? Turns out, not so much. Using the primary camera on both phones, the Pixel clearly outperforms the Ultra, not only capturing the shot quicker, but also getting the slightly cleaner looking shot, even though admittedly the difference is pretty minor. Taking a look at the ultra-wide shots, we see speed and quality results are nearly identical. Moving over to the telephoto cameras, we see the Pixel took the quicker shot, but the S22 had significantly better picture quality. In defense of the Pixel, the difference in picture quality could be chalked up to the fact that the Pixel was significantly more zoomed in on the subject, with its 5x sensor as opposed to the Ultra's 3x sensor. This theory is further corroborated by the very blurry shot that was captured using the Ultra's 10x telephoto lens, although it was at least able to catch the shot relatively quickly. So when looking at which one of these phones' camera systems has the greatest shutter speed, I think you would have to say it depends on the situation. However, for real-world action photography, I'm going to say the Pixel takes the win. Now don't get me wrong, the Ultra didn't perform poorly by any stretch, and in some situations it actually did outperform the Pixel, like in portions of the rapid shutter speed test. And if you are someone who partakes in a lot of burst photography, that result might mean more to you. But in the more common real-world moving subject scenario, the Pixel was able to take the quicker shot with both the primary and telephoto lens. The Pixel's primary lens capture looked slightly better as well, and I don't think you can hold the difference in image quality in the telephoto camera test against the Pixel due to differences in zoom length. This doesn't mean the S22 Ultra is a bad phone for action photography. With this new faster shutter speed setting, I actually think it's quite good, just not quite as good as the Pixel.
I guess that's fair.
Well, that's all the information I have for one day. As always, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.